Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today we are playing together yet another game of Will You Guess the Eyeshadow Palette? You know the drill by now. I'm wearing one particular eyeshadow palette on my eyes. I'm gonna first show you the shades within that palette that I used today, and then I'm gonna show you the rest of the shades present in that palette. The goal for you is to guess which palette it is as soon as possible. Let's go. Okay, so here are the shades that I used today. I started with this kind of burnt red color, and I kind of took it out in a V a little bit and just built it up in my crease. I then went in with this slightly lighter orange shade, and I kind of blended it outwards. I used this kind of pinky red. It's kind of hard to describe. I put it on my lids, I would say up until the middle part, and I also built it up in my crease a little bit. I put this very light shade that's not completely matte, it's more of a satin finish, and I put it in my inner corner as well as on my brow bone. And then I used this shade to put in the middle to kind of act as a binder between those two shades. I kind of replicated the same thing underneath my eyes like I always do, and that was it. And here are the other shades. I feel like this is going to be an easy guess the eyeshadow palette. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because I'm the one making the rules, but I feel like if you were to show me these colors, like I could guess quite easily, but who knows. So this is the rest of the palette. So there's 14 shades in this palette. It's mostly mattes. There's two shades that are, I would say, more of a satin finish, so they're not flat matte, but they're also not very shimmery. And then there's two more metallic shades. And have you guessed it? The palette I used today is Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills. You know my love for ABH eyeshadow formula, despite it not always being the easiest to work with, I find. In terms of fallout that you might get, and the fact that it's just very powdery, so it's gonna get messy, as you can see by the look of this palette right here. But when you put that aside, it's just such a beautiful formula. The shadows are always so pigmented and at the same time easy to blend in. Of course, there's always gonna be some colors that need a little bit more work, but this one in particular, being that it's mostly warm tones, I mean, it's just really easy to work with and to create a look. You can go very simple. You have some very nice warm, I was gonna say neutral shade, not in the tone of the shades, but more neutral in the sense that they just really go with everything. You know what I mean? You also have a bunch of like very hot pinks in there, but it's not hot pink that it's unwearable. It's still easy to pull off still during the day. I mean, if you saw me with this eye look, I mean, it's visible, it's definitely pigmented, but it's not crazy. You know, it's not like, oh my god, hot pink on your eyes, what happened, you know? Oddly enough, I think that my most favorite shade of the palette is the one Fresco, which, I mean, it's more cool tone, definitely. It's kind of this gray, purpley color. It's not gonna be flattering for some people, but I just find it very pretty, and from the dent I see in it, I definitely used it quite a bunch. But of course, what made this palette so popular is the fact that it is a warm tone palette. It was released at the height of warm tone palettes, but with these, like I said, more pinky shades as well, it kind of added a twist to a warm palette, so it definitely brought something different to the table, which is probably one of the reasons why it was so popular at a certain time. This and the quality, of course, like I said, I love ABH palettes, but this is definitely a staple. I'm pretty sure that everyone who's obsessed with beauty knows and has this palette, or at least has had it at one point. I hadn't used it in a very long time, and to tell you the truth, when I opened it, I was a bit confused. Like, I I don't remember vividly some looks that I created with this. It's more of a palette that, yes, I've used a bunch of times because it's easy to use and you can quickly create something that looks pretty. I can't say there's anything that I was ever, oh my god, obsessed with. I think it's more one of these palettes that, I mean, I kind of have to have because it's beautiful and because it's such a staple and because it's so easy to wear, but it's definitely not gonna be a palette that I look at and I think, oh my god, I can do this or that, or I remember creating that look, or oh my god, it's so pretty. You know, it's definitely more of a basic palette, I would say, although it has some pop of colors here. And you know I love glitter, and I mean, there's only like those two shades that are shimmery. The rest of them, like there's two satin shades, but other than that, it's all matte, and even the more metallic shades, like they're not bam in your face, which is what I like usually when it comes to like glitteriness. So when I opened it and didn't feel as excited as I remembered being a while ago about this palette, you know, I think it's probably due to the lack of glitters and the fact that it's a very, very nice palette to have. But I think I've come to the point where I just need to feel inspired, and this is just, I mean, yeah, it's been around forever also, so maybe that's why I just don't feel too inspired by it. It's still gorgeous. Never gonna get rid of it. I will use it again, that is for sure. It's just not my favorite from ABH, I must say. And that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel because it's free, so why wouldn't you? And I will see you guys next time. Bye.